What a way to start the week. Tech took a punch, the Dow held firm, and traders are scrambling for direction ahead of fresh inflation data. Let's unpack everything that happened today, April 14th, and what you need to watch going into Tuesday. Alright, let's start with the numbers. The S&P 500 closed down 0.48%, settling just above the 5,125 level. Tech dragged the index, but we saw some surprising strength in energy and healthcare names. The Nasdaq Composite took the biggest hit, down 0.85%, closing around 15,925. Semiconductor names struggled after a downgrade on Nvidia and broad concerns around chip inventory levels. Meanwhile, the Dow Jones held up better, only off by 0.12%, buoyed by defensive plays like Johnson Johnson, J&J, and Coca-Cola, KO, which saw steady buying most of the day. Let's talk movers. Biggest gainer on the S&P 500. Halliburton, HAL, jumped nearly 4% as crude oil pushed past $89 a barrel. Oil stocks are back in play with Middle East tensions flaring again. On the flip side, Nvidia, NVDA, dropped over 3% after Morgan Stanley lowered their price target, citing overextended AI optimism and potential Q2 margin pressure. That sent ripple effects across the chip sector. AMD and Micron followed suit. In the Dow, Goldman Sachs, GS, was up over 1.2% after better-than-expected trading desk revenue was leaked ahead of Wednesday's official Q1 earnings. We also got a fresh read on the New York Empire State Manufacturing Index, which unexpectedly fell to -7.2, a clear sign the industrial side of the economy isn't quite out of the woods yet. That weighed on materials and industrial names mid-session. Technically speaking, the S&P 500 is flirting with its 50-day moving average at 5,110. We dipped below it briefly today but bounced off that support going into the close, a level to watch tomorrow. For the Nasdaq, the 15,900 zone is critical. We haven't closed below that since early March. If we lose that level, I'd keep an eye on 15,750 as the next real area of demand. Meanwhile, the Dow continues to grind sideways. Not exciting, but it's holding that 38,000 floor. Above that, 38,400 is resistance for now. Sector-wise, energy led the way, up nearly 1.6% on the day. Healthcare was the other standout, with names like Merck, MRK, and Pfizer, PFE, seeing solid inflows. Tech was the laggard, particularly semiconductors, as we mentioned. XLK, the tech ETF, is now back under its 20-day moving average. And get this, unusual options volume in Tesla, TSLA, caught my eye. Over 1.4 million call contracts traded today, way above the 30-day average. Could be positioning ahead of their earnings next week, or someone's making a directional bet. Alright, so what's the takeaway? We've got a market that's still digesting strong year-to-date gains, but cracks are starting to show in high-growth names. Tomorrow, the market will be focused on PPI data, that's Producer Price Index, and that could be a real mover if inflation comes in hot. Personally, I think we're in for a choppy day tomorrow, with a potential morning dip followed by an afternoon rebound, especially if the PPA numbers come in cooler than expected. If you're swing trading, stay nimble. Watch how the S&P reacts to the 5,110 level. For day traders, volume will be key. If we see a pickup after the PPI print, you'll want to follow the flow, especially in energy and financials. That's your full recap and forecast for April 14, 2025. If you found this breakdown helpful, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below with the ticker you're watching tomorrow. I'll be back in the morning with pre-market insights, so don't miss it. Trade smart, stay sharp, and I'll catch you in the next one.